Oh, hey, special edition of Tales from the Dark Side. We were going to give you guys the rule of two, but that is now turning into our new Obi-Wan video where every time we try to post the bloody thing, it's a mess. So, like, we might get that as a Christmas gift. We might not. We're definitely going back to the recorded format next time. And, hey, tomorrow we're going to have a special. We're going to have another short. It's going to be about a newish character. Should be real fun. I think we're doing like a collabo with CBSI. So, check that out tomorrow. But today, I've gotten, the usual cast of crews around. I got my co-pilot, Solo Wookie. Solo, say what's going on.
What's up, everybody?
And the best trooper in the game, Leaky Trooper. Tell him hi.
Hey, y'all.
So today we're going to cover Target Vader. For those that don't know, Target Vader, when did it come out? I don't know when it came out, man. We're going to try to hang with us. We're going to try to get this done. This is typically why we tape stuff. We're going through Target Vader. Target Vader came out last year. It was a great book. I just want to touch base with you. This is Valance. He was an old character. They brought him back in this series. He's been brought back before. We will do a short on this character, so you're going to see a lot of them, but he did come back to Marvel in that Han Solo adaptation book. And we'll reference that a little bit in here, but we're mainly focusing on the Target Vader series, because Leaky, when we went on, we have that video too. We actually have a haul video that we're going to put. I took Leaky out to the a couple comic book stores. We grabbed some stuff. We're going to get you that video. Probably let's do it next week. We're going to do it next week because I know everybody likes haul videos. So Leaky will edit it. We'll get to you next week. But when we did that, this was one of the series we picked up for him. He wanted to read it, so we're going to get into it. I do want to go over some of the number. Yeah, there you go. I want to go over some of the number one covers. This is the first cover, the A cover. They also had this Emperor cover, which is one of the variants. They did have this, I think was the 1 in 10. I know it got a little bit of heat for a little bit. I like it. I think one day maybe we'll even talk about those sketch variants, and the final cover for one was this. It starts out kind of introducing the characters to you. It brings up an interesting point, guys. The one point that I think you're going to see from now on that can transfer over to the rest of the universe is this panel right here. It's really an important panel. The bounty hunter code used to be like you don't kill innocents. There was like this whole bounty hunter book they had. You never do anything bad. You don't steal each other's stuff. Well, Valance doesn't believe in that, obviously, from that panel, and he started down a road where, as a bounty hunter, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted. Valance is like a cyborg. He was an Imperial trooper at one point, but we'll get into that later. The other thing in the other panel in one that's pretty dope, Diaperhead. Diaperhead's here, and he gets punched in the face, which might become a reoccurring problem in this. But it also showed that they were going to start introducing bounty hunters, which is why this series kind of starts to get interesting. And when they do that, the whole goal of these bounty hunters are obviously the target's Vader. Some secretive group hires them, and in one they kind of run through some of the crew. We'll introduce the crew later, but we'll probably introduce them around book 3 or 4 when they have some great big parts in that. Book number 2 has an A cover and a B cover, which I got to say is a little more scarce. I have one of these, but I've always gone back to try to find them. I couldn't find it. Target Vader actually did pretty good, so I think people started scooping up the B covers easily. I don't think they were planning on doing as good as it was, even though Valance is an old character that they revived. Does anybody want to try saying his first name, by the way? Solo Wookie?
I think we agreed it's like a very possibly French, so like
Yes.
Bière.
Bière.
Because it's Bieret. So Bière would.
I don't think he's French.
I think he is silent. I think Wookie's right.
Like a French
it's not like Beirut, like Belaert. I think it's
French
more like
or Norwegian.
But, especially since his last name is Valance, or like Blinds, very French. Bilaire Valance.
Bière.
White. C. White actually asked it. It brings him back. He actually shows up. They do reference it a little bit in like I said, the Han Solo movie, because that's when he's an Imperial cadet. In Imperial Cadet, that was the name of the books. But this is what they actually kind of bring back his storyline a little bit more in depth here and goes a little further in depth. We'll go into that a little bit.
Well, and I know one of the reasons you picked that book out for me when we went on our haul was my very first thing I got was Bounty Hunters 1, and he was on the cover, and I'm like, whoa, what's that, a cyborg? Who is that guy? And so then you got me into Target Vader and loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he is an old character from the original Marvel run, which is really kind of cool. And I got out of the pictures. Anyways, let's keep going. So had two covers. They start talking a little bit about when he was a child. The Empire comes to his town. They thought they were going to be freed because his dad gives him some sob story about like, we've been working so hard. We're a bunch of slaves, but now we're free because the Empire comes here. Doesn't turn out that great for him, obviously, because he was originally a humanoid kid. And now he looks like a whole hot bunch of mess. Of cyborg parts and random pieces. We will get into that in a little bit. This was very interesting, though. Are anybody okay? Here's another. Isn't it like this? So Wookie? You know sign language. What's the sign language thing you do for sand people with the URRK? How can you? I know is it your sister's like renowned sign language specialist?
She is. She's a sign language interpreter.
I knew that. So maybe we'll have her on, but somehow the name is this, and you're either way. It's a
Tusken Raider.
Tusken Raider, yeah, pretty cool armor, and he doesn't trust the Tusken Raider, and but the Tusken Raider is kind of a sharpshooter, which is really
that sounded cool. Wookie.
That did sound Wookie. He does Dex. Go back. Yeah, doesn't it look like Dax? So they bring in a lot of old stuff. Like there's a guy that looks like Dax, and he runs like this. Why do they all run restaurants and bars? But he runs a bar, but he also has like hidden weapons everywhere somehow, because that's something.
Extra pair of hands, you can cook and clean at the same time, man.
He brings up a good little plot point though. He shows the rebel sign, saying that's kind of what's taking over. So you can kind of get the timeline, and then all of a sudden we get to the mix of the story.
Well, the way he reveals sign in the book, like it's a new kind of symbol that he's just now starting to recognize coming up, which is an interesting point in the story, the way that they kind of placate on that. And of course, we mean the rebel sign, the old, the fireball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, he doesn't like dust or something on his bar top or top of whatever he's.
Yes, but the way that he says, "Oh, I'm starting to see this, and I recognize it," and then draws it, and it's like, "Oh, okay, so interesting point."
But the Imperials come down and bomb the crud out of that planet, which saves Valance because he's like gets away. And then everybody tries to get away because Vader comes on, and Vader just goes on the killing spree, which we all like. And then they're like, hey, we're looking for these bounty hunters. Because for some reason they know that the bounty hunters were going to try to hunt Vader, but whatever. And that they're going to find him. The next book gets it's only in cover A on this book. It's number 3. They do the flashback to Imperial Cadet with him being an Imperial Cadet. Once again, we'll cut through that in a short because it's just a tangent that we can get on with that. I have to say this. I don't know what you guys thought, but the artwork for the Vader in this book, like how they showed him, I know in the new series they've had some points where he's a little bit like weaker, and he's been weaker throughout certain roles and through the Vader lines in different volumes. But in this book, Vader's a BA, dude. He is just taking names.
In this particular scene, too, he's the savior of Valance here, right? They're Imperial troops. They're kind of pinned down, and Vader shows up to save them. Yeah. And that's why I thought this was
so cool. He's not really there to save them so much. He kind of bails them out.
Yeah.
He bails everybody else.
He bails them out, but it wasn't so much because he wanted to as maybe there was a little deviant plan that what is it? Baer had planned. Sets it up. He does a good job.
No, but I mean, it just like the way they write Vader in this book. There's key things like how Bloodline writes Leia. Well, I don't think anybody can write Luke that good because you just gotta have him crying all the time. But like, you know, there's certain times where you see certain storylines that get written very well and done well, and this one has got Vader where it's really well. I think this is like, you know, it did, like I said, it sold well. You know, if you can collect the runs on these, especially the B covers on the first couple, it's
Well,
it's a
being
good
you
run.
guys know I'm a movie guy and cartoon guy, not big on comics. So I always say there's Rogue One Vader, who's kind of like the badass movie monster. There, and then there's kind of whiny Vader in the first three, and then regular Vader in the last three. This was kind of Rogue One badass Vader throughout here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He does not mess around in this.
No.
Yeah. This is Rogue One, like, yeah, murk everybody, Vader, dude.
Yeah,
and we'll get to that too.
He's a little angry, and he's not asking if people have hurt feelings. He's just taking people out. He's like, no, this is my agenda, and that you don't fit my agenda. You're gone.
Yep.
So we get out of the flashback. Valance got them all tied up, and they go to arguably one of the best issues, I would say. Four's probably the last issue. 6 is good, but 4 is probably one of my favorite issues because in there, speaking of the BA Vader, he just starts going to town. They do these little flashbacks of each character. Turns out that the Tusken Raider actually isn't a Tusken Raider. That doesn't matter though because Vader kills her.
I gotta be honest though. This. Oh wait, go back to that. Oh,
I could go with Wookiee's favorite part. Don't worry about it. I'll get it.
No, I was just gonna say, and maybe I'll talk about it at the end of this issue because this issue kind of bothered me a little bit, but I'll tell you why after we get through it.
All right, Solo Wookiee, what do we got going on here? Your favorite?
Lobbing parts off. Gotta love it. I got a saber. What are you gonna do? Someone's losing an arm, a hand, an appendage.
Yep. So we got a bunch. You know, they're kind of doing the old Dark Horse thing where they start lopping off arms with lightsabers all the time, which is kind of cool to see. You know, it just kind of does.
In fairness, he does have 4. Nobody really needs 4.
Yeah,
right.
He leaves them with 1, but then ends up they do the Gormorian guard flashback, and then they end up having Vader toss him into the Gormorian axe. Another cool scene there.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to survive that either. Then he slices him in half. So we got some more.
The Gamorrean guard was the guy's girlfriend, so it was the woman he loved. Killed him by Vader throwing him on the axe.
Yeah. That's yeah.
It's a tragic love story, man.
She seemed a little eager to help. I think there might have been a little trouble on the front there. And
I think you're right.
She wasn't moving too fast out of the way.
No. But that kind of what brings me to my issue with this book was.
Well, hold on. Let's get to the last scene. So everybody, all the bounty hunters there die except for Valance, all of them except for 2, Valance and the betrayer. Razorhead betrays them. Works for the Empire. Okay, go ahead.
If any of you are huge Dengar fans, please maybe insert different names that are being, said about Dengar. I happen to think he's okay.
Yeah, they really made him kind of a whiny jerk in this one. And my only exposure to Dengar before this was on the bridge of the Star Destroyer, and he was mysterious, right? It's like the mummy, he's wearing Mandalorian armor. So I like the mysterious Dengar. After I read this book, I'm like, oh, he's just a jerk.
Yeah, so like I know recently people have been saying because of the old story with the Sarlacc pit, how Dengar kind of saved Boba Fett with what happened in that he was his mentor. But if you watched like some of the Clone Wars stuff and some of the all the Clone Wars stuff, because there's a bunch where it's a younger and the Sing storylines with young Fett and that type of stuff. He always kind of was like a little bit whiny and a little bit douchey. Not as bad as this book because it gets worse in this book, but like they overdid everything. Like if it was Vader, they made Vader super Vader. Like, if it was cut off an arm,
super douchey.
Yeah. So they made him super douchey. Like and I don't have a problem with it, especially because they'd only put him in like 2 panels a book, and he was that way in the 2 panels. So I hear what you're saying. But is anybody really a fan of him? I mean, he's like,
yes. I actually have a friend. I haven't talked to him in years. An acquaintance that I used to work with at an electrical company, and he was a huge Dengar fan and very much into Dengar lore and what happened in Dengar's timeline with them finding love and settling down later on and renouncing the whole, bounty hunter stuff for a while. Yada yada yada.
So he has a diaper fetish. Okay, long and short of that one.
So I wanted to tell you guys my main issue with this book, and you can tell me maybe this is just a comic book trope, but so what was new to me about this was my first series I read, right? So what I noticed very quickly is all the Star Wars comic books are stories within the stories, right? They're putting them somewhere in the movies or in between the TV shows. So what I thought was a little cheesy about this might have been on purpose, how they showed flashbacks before, but you never saw flashbacks of the bounty hunters up until this issue. And it was pretty much you saw a flashback to kind of make a personal connection, and then they wiped the bounty hunter out like right after the flashback.
The extra one? Well, I'll get into that a little bit later because I think this is kind of a test, right? So I think they brought, and they'll use the comics a lot of times to test certain characters out or certain storyline type things, and they will fill in gaps with it. And I think that's kind of what they're doing here with Target Vader.
Because of the female Tusken Raider, like you didn't know anything. You didn't even know she was a woman. As soon as you find out she's a woman, they give you a little bit of backstory on her, like just a tiny bit. And then boom, she's dead.
Yeah, but I mean, like, let's say you go back. Yeah, I mean, let's say you go back and you do a bounty hunter movie or you do a Solo 2 or something like that, where you start involving Sing into stuff. Like you can see some of these characters pop back up. Gotcha. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be a first thing. I'm not saying they're doing that. Listen, I'm not saying they're doing that at all.
Right.
But I mean, they do a lot of times when they put stuff in Star Wars briefly, especially some of these writers, it's on purpose. It'll show up somewhere down the line in a storyline in a book, or it'll show up in a cinematic thing.
Because it was like ultimate fate for each one of these guys, right? You're seeing the end of their story. And
I mean, look, if you're reading further down, like the Vader series right now, that assassin of a stone, like that guy's dead already. Like we know they've already told his death story. They've told leading up to his death. They've told all the way through the Jakku story. They've told there's like a 5-year span when this arc ends in Vader that they haven't told. So that's what I'm saying. Like they'll either start it in cinema and then backtrack their story, or they'll sometimes lead in to what they're going to do. I mean, I'm pretty sure that eventually, right, you got to have content for Disney Plus. So you're going to have to do the Sing story if you don't do a Solo. Like everybody wants to know what happened to Sing, how she got pushed off a ledge, right? Like you definitely are going to, and like bounty hunters sell all the time.
So what you're saying, Marco, is they start with the end in mind then, eh?
Yeah, a lot of times they do because they write out the stories. Like if you've ever seen some of the stuff they've done, like the New Republic one's good too. And maybe on a different show, I'll show you some of the chalkboards they use because they have some pictures accidentally leaked out about chalkboards and how they do their designing and thought process through Star Wars now. And yes, they come up with one chalkboard that comes up with the basis of what like you need to keep in your guidelines. Then they go into a brainstorming session. Then out of the brainstorming session, they start circling out the words of the brainstorming session that they want to implement in and stuff like that. And figure out the storyline from there. Like you get the end and then come back to the beginning. That's a trope of Star Wars all the time. I mean, they did, the end of Darth Vader and then they told him as a kid. So what's going on, Kev? So yeah, do you guys have a Discord? We don't have a Discord. Does anybody have a Discord? I don't know what it is.
The Flip Side channel did have a Discord going at one time. I do not remember the link.
All right. So let's get back now that we've taken a detour like we always do. This is why we edit stuff, because usually we go into Discord. We get into 5.
Man.
We get into 5 now. 5 shows this is actually a really cool scene in 5. This is why he turned into a cyborg, because he got like mustard gas.
Anakin.
Yeah. And the major points in this book too is that where he got Anakin, and then this little wordage right here, which was kind of cool, where Vader's like, hey, listen, I know where to find you, which is the lead up to tell you kind of timelining again that he's going to find him and get him on Was it the Executioner?
How can you hate him? Go back. How can you hate him? Look at those pretty blue eyes.
I don't know. If he had a nice long white beard, I might warm up to him.
Yeah, he should get a white beard.
He's just a good guy.
Yeah. What? He's such a good guy. Why did they make him such a douche in this?
I think, like I said, I think if you start doing like Clone Wars, he wasn't exactly like. He's never been.
I got to tell you guys, and
Solo is the first person I've ever heard, even rumored. I'm only going to say it's a rumor. I'm not going to say this person actually exists, but rumored to actually know somebody who enjoyed the character. That's official rumors.
I'd rather enjoy Dengar. I don't mind him.
I thought for sure. I'm not jumping ahead here, I don't think, but I thought for sure Dengar was kind of a jerk the whole time.
Yeah.
So when they made him the betrayer at the end of the third book, I thought they were going to do the old classic war movie thing where it's like you think it's not Dengar who's the betrayer because if you were to say who's betraying him, well, Dengar, he hates him, he doesn't like him. I thought they were going to do the bait and switch, but they didn't. They made him the betrayer.
He's a bounty hunter. It's kind of his job. I said I kind of like him. I didn't say that I trust him or if I was going to do a deal with him that I wouldn't expect to get double crossed somewhere in that because that's who that character is.
Right. But
I know that. So, I think they write him fairly well from what I've read because he is kind of supposed to be that douchebag that you guys often refer to. So it's kind of his character.
Yeah. But I thought they were kind of like leading you to believe he's the betrayer and then somebody else was going to be the betrayer. Right? I thought it was going to be the plot twist.
No. He's that guy.
No, so I think you guys missed it, but like in the beginning when they were explaining that like bounty hunters don't do that, and then Dengar goes through, gets knocked because he did it, and like they're going after Valance like he's some super like jerk and broke the code, but he punched Dengar because he kind of broke the code.
Yes,
Valance goes and talks to the Dex type character who he broke the code. Dengar definitely breaks the code again because he shocks him and hands him over to Vader. Guys, I'm going to try to get to the chat.
There's a recurring theme here where Valance says he doesn't follow code, but he punishes those that do.
Yeah. Well, in Valance, he breaks code left and right and sets those guys up. So, if you look at it, Valance is not much different nor any better or worse than Dengar because
he's douchey too.
Yeah, for Lord's sake, he sets them all up and calls in Vader to bail them out and kill everyone off in the whole scene. That's kind of,
dude, that guy.
I got to be honest, Wookie.
Listen, that guy, Tez, JJ Maxwell, who else is in there? Darth Lopez, Bob, all you guys in the chats. Texas, thanks for coming. C. White, love it. Patrick, always good to see you. You guys are awesome, and you're making me crack up, and I'm really trying to get through this. This is why we tape things, because all of a sudden I take a peek at the chat, and this chat's going crazy with some of the best things I've ever seen. We will get back to you.
That's why I love live shows.
I know, me too.
No, because we'll never get through it. It'll be 6 hours long. Vader comments.
We've got the best,
hey, we'll try to do a
show group of fans.
I gotta stop reading that. Hey, stop all this. We're going back. We're going back.
Hot Shot Racer? I want to talk about that.
Last point. So at the end of that book, Vader and it was like a backscheme to when Vader came down and blew up the planet and saved Valance, and they're kind of like, all right, well, I'm not going to kill you now, but whatever. Next book, he goes in. They do a lot of backstory of Valance, so they've redone the backstory. But before they do that, they like, that's the one. They like go to his old town. He fell in love with some girl at some point. Blah blah blah. They put in a little bit of a love story, but he actually runs into the group now that had hired him, and it's the Hidden Hand. That's actually who Vader the whole time is trying to find. Except for it doesn't go well for Valance. He goes there and is like, "Hey, listen, you guys still owe me. I tried to kill him, whatever." And they're like, "Nah, we're going to kill you, bud." And he's like, "Well, I actually don't like you, so I think I'm going to kill you."
Now, there is a point. Go back one. I don't know if you guys caught it, but this gentleman must be like right around 100, 150 years old because he's got that nice teenage brown in his beard.
Yes.
So I didn't know if you guys caught that or not. But
Yep.
Okay. Carry on.
So Vader shows up.
Yet, though, Wookiee. Now without the gray, he's just a pup.
Right.
It was actually a whole scam. Vader shows up with the Imperials. They start blowing up the hand. Maybe a couple got away, maybe didn't. But then Vader, this is just a book of betrayal because Vader betrays Valance, and he sends the Imperial troopers to go wipe out his town.
Now, hold right here for a second.
Yeah,
this is where it brought the whole thing in where I love this series, on this panel in the next one after.
Which I didn't show. I didn't clip out the next panel. And we probably would have done it in post.
So it looks like
probably done it in post,
people.
Yeah.
But they're not there anymore.
Yeah, so the whole well, you gave it away, but yeah, so the whole setup. There's the whole setup. At the end, we're gonna give it away because we spoil everything. So at the end, they go to the town to go blow them all up, and there's nobody at the town. Valance saved his girlfriend that's not his girlfriend. And it's not like a Canadian girlfriend. She does exist. She's just not where you think she is, right? Like there's a real person. When I say girlfriend, not girlfriend, it's not a Canadian girlfriend.
Niagara Falls.
He does have a girlfriend.
She's in the Niagara Falls area. Come on, man. Don't be like that.
But they transplanted her someplace else. But probably once again, one of the best parting scenes, because for some reason their last pages are always kind of cool in this. We get right around the last scene. Dungar was such a pain in the butt the whole thing. It was really good to see him just get knocked out. He's over there bragging in some bar.
I always love the fist imprint on the chin.
Yeah.
See how his whole chin is folded in when he
right on that cheek.
Yep, the cheek. Sorry,
yeah. And it's great. Like, so the series was great, and it did really well. It did so well that they decided to extend it. And I think we all know this cover, right? So they extended it into Bounty Hunter 2 and started telling more of the story, incorporating him with more bounty hunters. And when you look at that's a good. You're just mad. I got it for $10. I actually like how he's reflecting.
Little cough there.
Smoke.
It was worth $10. I'm not sure it was worth more than $10, but I do like the reflection. The reflection of him and the boss type character.
$2 cover.
Well, yeah, everybody wants it for $2.
Earlier, Kev's Collectibles says he looks like the Terminator. There, he looks like Night of the Living Dead.
Oh no, yeah. Oh yeah, he looks like the Terminator there. You're right, and he does.
Here he looks like Bruce Campbell in Army of Darkness or something.
Absolutely. And we'll probably review that series too, because that series is still going, but it'll get to an end. But you see that they're using this character more and more. And it's actually, he's a tie-in character, right? So he's been around for a while. You can tie him all the way into Han Solo when he was a cadet, which is younger. Like Han Solo 1 movie, you can tie him in from that time period there because he was around then. You can tie him to a lot of bounty. Obviously, he has a lot of experience with bounty hunters. He was a great character when he was the hunter. And there's that awesome, your favorite rabbit on his first appearance cover for Marvel.
Oh, Jackson the Rabbit.
Yeah, Jackson the Rabbit, which we'll probably do a video on that guy too. But
hey, I wanted to hit the comments real quick.
Yeah, let's go.
Said Michael Biehn is going to be Valance in Mandalorian. I think that'd be a little too on the nose because Michael Biehn was in the Terminator. So I don't know.
Oh, I hope he's not talking about for Dengar.
No. He was saying Michael.
No. Look at the comment I just posted.
He's
talking about Dengar.
Kilmer's Dengar.
That ain't cool. That's not cool. That's not cool. I
can buy into that, man. Val Kilmer is Dengar.
I like Tombstone.
I know, I do too.
But you
Val
couldn't remember the
Kilmer's
twist. We gave away the twist. Is that the village wasn't there?
Yep. That was a great twist.
Texas, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. That's cool. Yeah, mine. Hopefully, he's not joking about that. This is what you're talking about. You're talking about the Michael.
Yeah. No. It's
great.
earlier. He said he heard Michael Biehn on Mandalorian might play Valance. There it is.
Yeah. Who's Michael Biehn?
Michael Biehn was the guy that was sent back to get the Terminator, and he was in Tombstone too.
Yeah. Okay.
He played Johnny Ringo in Tombstone.
Yeah. That's why the Tombstone comic came up. Johnny Ringo. Yeah. Yeah, God, that Tombstone movie is good, man.
I
love that movie.
But Val Kilmer is looking less like Doc Holliday and more like Dengar these days.
He does look a lot like Dengar, unfortunately, these days.
So, do you guys enjoy this read? Do you guys enjoy this arc here? The arc of Target Vader. Did you guys enjoy it? Do you like it?
I did.
So, I was halfway through it, like, oh man, they're gonna kill off this character kind of again, and like that stinks because I really enjoyed the character. And then when it because the last preview for this book, when Target Vader ends, wasn't bounty hunters. It was for the new Vader series. So you're kind of like, and then you heard, I think, because in the old Vader series, when it ended, someplace else they had, maybe it was in the previews. In the previews, they previewed Bounty Hunter. So you saw, that's why I picked up that $10 book, was because on that thing there was a reflection of Valance. I was like, oh, cool, because they're bringing him back now and they're going to reincorporate him into all the bounty hunters. And honestly, I really like the character. Like he does float in that middle realm, right? Like he doesn't mess around really. He's a little bit more on the human side. He's made mistakes, obviously, and he doesn't care. But he's kind of like that great character that you just love. He's kind of a lot like Doc Holliday. To be honest with you, he is. He's a lot like Doc Holliday.
Yeah. So
he might not live by the bounty hunter code, but he lives by his own code that's a little bit better than the bounty hunter. You know, like if he doesn't like the bounty, good luck. You know what I mean? So they do incorporate him back in.
I wanted to answer, you know, how you said that I enjoy the arc, and I wanted to give you a little, without going too long-winded, is I came into this going, okay, it's called Target Vader. Clearly Darth Vader is not going to get killed, right? So he's kind of untouchable. And then I knew Valance was very quickly, he's the main character. So I kind of expected him to be expendable because but I already had Bounty Hunter 1, so I know he lived on. So I was very curious about how the story arc was going to go, like how it was going to happen. I knew Vader was going to get away clearly. And I'll be honest, as I'm reading through the books, I got to 4 and I really liked how it was going. But when they kind of unveiled Dengar as the betrayer and they killed all the bounty hunters, I was like, oh man, they better have a good twist at the end. And they did. Issue 6 nailed the series for me.
Sure. Yeah.
But I like Valance all the way through. I was like, this guy's cool, man. I'd like to see him in live action.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's a very easy one to do, especially with how they use the new way of doing the technology, especially if it starts getting into TV show. Like if it does. And by the way, we talk a little about that on our short. I think all these guys are going to love it. JJ, I know for sure, is going to love the short we're doing tomorrow. I don't want to give it away tonight because it is a short and it's short. Oh, watch it till the end because we actually had it done months ago and then we had to edit in because some breaking news occurred. I think we didn't cut in a sound effect. I think we just made it up by ourselves. Hopefully you guys like it. We'll be putting that out.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So watch it all the way to the end. It's almost 15 minutes. So like I think the original video was like 10 and we had to add in an extra 4 or 5 minutes on the back end because we cut some stuff out and then put some new stuff in. That could be
a preview of it because I got to edit it, so I got to see it already.
Yeah, I hope it's good. I hope you like it.
It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, so I do like this arc. I've when I first I read like I think 2 and 3 at one point when it came out. I'd missed 1 and then missed the end. So when I went back, what was it, 3-4 weeks ago, something like it, 2 weeks ago, and reread the whole thing, I liked it. I like this story a lot because I think it shows a lot of the bounty hunters and a lot of the bounty hunter code, but also that most all the bounty hunters don't really follow the bounty hunter code either. They're like, hey, I'm a bounty hunter. I got to do what I got to do to survive. So I think that's kind of a neat, well-written aspect in this book.
Well, there was that old bounty hunter book guide that they put out too that was supposed to be like the rules of bounty hunting. And I think they kind of got away from that because it's like, well, if you stick to that, you can't really have.
Well, and it again, for another video, it kind of touches onto that rule of 2 and all of that problem with that they, came up with and made and then kind of erased and went back and said, well, not really a rule of 2, but there is a rule of 2. So it's kind of back onto that whole, lather, rinse, repeat, which is what Star Wars does. They like to do that. So I love the artwork in this book.
Maybe we'll drop the rule during the holidays, like so people can digest that thing. There's a lot of hand jokes and you can't. Can you say hand jokes? Not in the way you guys are thinking about hand jokes. Like actually, guys losing their hand jokes. So keep your mind out of the gutter. But in that video, and it goes into a couple other things. Actually, I think it's probably really dated now because since we did that video, we've talked to people about some of the books, Hey, we've talked about other things in that video since, but hey, it'll be fun. We're gonna keep you guys. Look, the holidays sometimes get boring, right? We have pre-recorded a lot. We're gonna finish up pre-recording some stuff so that you guys will have enough to at least ignore your relatives with during the holidays. If you see them, or if you don't, you'll have something to fill your time with. So we're gonna keep working on a lot of stuff. We'll get that done. We promise the haul video will come out too. That's good. We got the 15-minute Valance. Okay, so Valance is good. I want to hit up because apparently this chat ended up turning into Tricks the Rabbit and Jackson talk. If you guys didn't go out and pick up, I know Lopez did because he got the RI, the retail incentive for that Star Wars Adventure. Pretty cool. The Star Wars Adventures came out with their annual this week. Did they? This week, yes. And that's a Jackson story, and it typically is. They've started to do that again. I think we covered that in somebody else's. I think it was Calvin
Why
Scott.
would they do Jackson at Easter? That doesn't make any sense.
So there's that's so they did the Jackson's. So Jackson is in that book. So grab that book real quickly. There is an RI. Just remember, there's an RI for that. Usually, you can get it for the same price. Usually, the retailers don't figure it out. So hopefully, you guys can look into that.
We have no choice but to do Jackson on Easter.
We got to do Jackson on Easter now. We got to do Jackson on Easter now.
Yep. We just established our Easter show.
You know what? Maybe we'll do too. We'll see about our holiday schedule. You guys we're not doing that. But you guys let us know. A lot of you regulars that we see in these chats, maybe we'll do just like a group chat during the holidays too. Get together. Hit us up in the email if you guys think that's a good idea. Maybe we'll talk.
Where do you submit comic book ideas? I just thought of the comic book idea. The frog lady with the eggs in Mandalorian. She loses the eggs, and Jackson has to go find the eggs.
Oh Jesus, no.
Sorry.
No. Anyway, so do that. Maybe we'll do something special during the holidays for that. I know I was going to try to get together with everybody who's been on the show before. I'm not sure that's going to work out. So maybe we can find a day people got during the holidays and the breaks, and we can all just meet up somehow in one of the chat rooms and just BS.
Did I steal Maxwell's joke? Or did I say that before he put that out there?
Yeah, it was like almost identically at the same time. Great minds think alike. Oh my gosh.
He was connected
to me?
The Force. Yeah.
Cav, are you kidding? Are you serious about this? That little thing that's on StarWars.com.
Ahmad Best.
StarWars.com. No way he does that. That'd be hilarious.
That would be.
They had like a Jackson on that. Tell me it's like a furry, dude. That would be. If you guys did see it, should I load the picture? Did you guys see? Is that Hot Topic that's selling it now? The furry, from Empire, where he hangs up Luke upside down, should have ate him. The Wampa. The furry Wampa hat. It's actually not that expensive. It's kind of cool, man. Like
it's a hat,
or it's like a mask, but they didn't give you the body. It's only like the top mask part. It's kind of creepy.
I'm trying so hard not to go back to the hand jokes when you brought up furry. I know.
I haven't seen that. I'm gonna have to check that out. At Hot Topic,
Wampa costume.
Hot Topics? You didn't see it? I thought it was posted in the Hangouts. No, maybe Paul, you just sent it to me or something, or
a Wampa costume.
It's not a whole costume. They actually call it a Wampa furry hat. Hat. It's creepy.
What is this world coming to?
Well, no, because I have a Chewbacca one. I have a whole hat with the ear flaps and everything, like back in the old hunting days. The flaps that come down, and it's all Chewbacca, and it's got Chewbacca's face right here across the top. I oddly have a Chewbacca coat that matches it.
Oh, you mean like the Hoth one, like the old fighter pilots used to wear? With the ears and the flap. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, like Elmer Fudd. You know how he had that hat?
Yes.
And it would, except mine's all Chewbacca.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So I'm picturing that in a Wampa.
Yep. Seeing LeBeau from Hogan's Heroes. I'm with you.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be right too.
And half our audience just went, "Who the hell?"
It's not like that. So it's an actual like helmet, like or hat. It could be like a costume. I think that's why they call it furry. But the guy they put it onto is like very skinny and wearing a white. Like it'd be like the smallest dude, like no shoulders, like where it doesn't even really fit him, so it's just a weird head on top of a.
Yeah, that doesn't quite add up.
JJ, what TPB is he talking about? Do you know offhand? I can go through the memory and see if I know. Oh, that's what it is. It's Defenders of the Lost. Defenders of the Lost Temple. Huh? Is that a TPB or is that one of those short reader books? Is that one of the short reader books? Does anybody know? JJ? I think it might be. I don't know, but good place to always go get those are at your secondhand stores. You know, we always pick up. What did I pick up over here? Of course, now I pick up. Now we're gonna do these.
So hey, I had one last question.
Pick these up. All
Bob said it's a short read book.
And then
The
I do these.
mini book. Yeah.
Yeah, these little mini, like these. Is it like it's one of the
Yeah.
books. Yeah, I always pick up these things, and these are great little mini books. And then they did this one too as a mini, and then they have like the playouts. I always like those. Those are good. I've kept a full run of these because for my kids because we read through the different types of them when we go through them all.
I do not know what typical runs for trade paperbacks is.
There's not a lot. Like I'll tell you the what. So some of them like. That hardcore one, the spot. If you find anything that's the Spotlight company did, those are print on demand, pretty much the library books. So it's pretty much as much as you want to print out. Those are cool though because if you can find them, Kev had one, and I always tell him that I love it because I've got a couple too. But like I love them because the ones that are actually got the stamp that people that found their way out of libraries. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Kev, do you remember what library yours is from? You have the You have the Soko one, don't you? The reprint of that in the hardcover from Spotlight. But, like it'll be like Glassagula Public Library. And you're like, oh, let's go look up that library or whatever. I think those are always cool to do that. But if you want them new, you can get them new too, man. You can get them printed out there. He's got a video on it. Go check out Kev's Collectible for that.
Maxwell in there talked about digest size comics. Is that like the Archies? I would love that, man. Like they sell it.
It's like this here. So it comes up. It's like this. These are so I get them for the kids because like they're actually so at the same time they were doing these DC or Dark Horse was putting out their TPBs, their actual regular size TPBs. They were putting out their regular size TPBs. The problem with their regular size TPBs is the glue that they use in the bindings, and these are actually why some of the better ones like Open Season or the FET one is harder to come by. And their tape paperbacks, the glue on this is better in the seaming. The glue on the TPBs has a tendency to split a lot. So you'll find these in a lot better shape than you will in the trade paper.
They had a bit of that problem with the Star Wars tales as well. The glue that they put in those stickers tends to bleed through and make splotches and spots and look kind of poopy.
Which kids are reading those more than adults. They would just rip those apart.
These? No, these are pretty heavy. These little digest ones are pretty hefty. Like they're good. This one has been well read and it is held up pretty well. Like you can tell because of when you open the pages that somebody put a bookmark in it and stuff like that. But these have held up pretty well.
Do they press okay? Are they easy?
I'm not. Are you honestly? If you're starting, I know people are getting into. Come on, a square bound. You can press one of those, but like, it's not short either. It's like 100 pages. That's not 100 pages.
I feel responsible for this. You realize?
No, it is. It's almost 100 pages. They're almost 100 pages. So yeah, good luck. Somebody's doing it. Somebody's going out there.
Somebody somewhere is like, press it. I'll give it a try.
You can't press out the Ben arcs though, guys. Like that's not something that will press out because it's color breaking.
That will buff out.
Hey, well, they put those one. What container do they put that in? Is that a specialty, or do you have to get it boxed by like PGX or what's the grading company that does like toys?
Oh,
there you go.
Like ABDA, something.
ABDA, yeah.
Just take
Yeah.
your arm to it. You steam.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
just do
it.
that while you've got the shower on high. Make sure you got the shower on high.
No, I love the Target Vader run. I do like it. I love the artwork in it. It's I mean, you don't get a lot of that.
Hi, Kev.
You're not seeing that goofy pirate ship made of gold with you know what I mean? Like
okay, yeah. So you're giving it. Once again, I'm going to talk about all the parts of the Rule of Two. So in the Rule of Two books, there is like a gold ship and a Jedi that has that's a centaur. Which once again, that's worth watching that video when we get it out eventually. It's cursed, so I don't know when we will, but I promise it's going to be around the holidays. But the important part is they're vesting in that Valance character. JJ kind of brought it up in the chat. He says, this might be, especially when you look, they tried Silo, right? And they kind of tried it again with the Assassin of Bastogne because it's almost the exact same character when you look at him, right? Like Silo was an assassin type character that was trying to kill Vader, sent by the Emperor. The same thing is with like the Assassin of Bastogne or whatever, however you say his name. That's the guy you actually see him in. What is it? What's the last crap movie? Rise of Skywalker. It's like he's bones. It's like his head because he got buried in the sand.
All hate mail to Tales from the Dark Side.
I'll be honest with you. I'll get killed for a lot of other things. People won't kill me for that. Like 65% of people agree with me on that one. There's other stuff like Empire wasn't a full movie. Like they'll kill me on that. The chat's about to go crazy on it right now.
Well,
but
now that I've read Target Vader and I've read a really good series, my first series, I think it's time to go to a crapper, Dark Empire 2.
No, you gotta go to Dark Empire 1 first.
No, why go to the Dark Empire 1's not even like as big of a turd as Dark Empire 2 though.
But you got to read 1 before 2. You can't just jump on it 2.
We talk a lot about that. We talk a lot about the Bane trilogy. We talk about in the Rule of Two. So it's good. You'll be right on post with that. We do talk a lot about Jedi versus Sith, which is probably one of the worst illustrated books I've ever seen in my life. We actually have a thumbnail for it. You know what? Let's see if I can add the thumbnail so that they can tell us what they think about the thumbnail, because the thumbnail is so bad. When I showed somebody the thumbnail for this, they said, "Is that anime?" Let me try to see if I can add this into the you guys talk about something. I'll see if I can add this into the.
Well, I was going to say, you guys picked a good first series for me to read with Target Vader. I really enjoyed it, and I'm afraid if you guys sent me on to one of the crappers first, then I would have given up on the comic books because I'm a Lego guy. I don't read a lot of comics, so you set me on the path on the right series, I think.
So I think that's part of the thing with Target Vader. You did actually see readership start to pick back up in the series.
Yes.
Now you've seen for a different reason. Maybe you've seen some of the Vader series pick up, and even the Star Wars with the yellow saber. But if you actually look when you're in the LCS, and I don't know what's going on online or what, I'm on so many shows at this point. I don't even know. I don't have time to watch anything else. But when you talk to people in the LCS, there's a lot of people that pick up Bounty Hunters weekly that were like guys that had given up on Star Wars. Even when there was good runs of it, they would stop and I liked Vader down, but then they came out with, what was the one where he was the Death Hunter? Vader was on that. What was that stupid one? It was supposed to be run by Chuck Wingo, but then they ran him off, and they ended up doing. I'll remember it, but they had him like the Death Rider, like he was on a horse with a shield and a lightsaber. I mean, come on, dude! Like, really, you put Darth Vader on a horse?
Hey, that's the best way to attack a Star Destroyer is with her.
Hey,
what was that?
I love Crimson. I don't love Crimson's Empire, but I like Crimson Empire, dude. I always buy Crimson.
Is that related to Crimson Dawn from Solo?
No. He's talking about the Dark Horse series. It's about the red Imperial Guards.
Oh yeah.
It's good. We'll review that. Yeah, man. We'll definitely do that, JJ. It's good. Dark Vision. Yeah, that is a load. that book was a load. I'm making you read that one because if you want to know modern loads of junk, that book's. What did you think about that guy? Because it's garbage, right? Everybody will agree with that.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. I started it, didn't finish it.
Yeah,
I may have to go back and read it just to power through it, but I've also tried to finish Lord of the Rings like 4 times, and I can't do that. So,
hey, Invite to Raid. That's where I started, man. My first comic book I picked up in Walmart was Bounty Hunters 1. And that's where Marco got me into Target Vader, and now I'm hooked, man. I'm waiting each month for Bounty Hunters to come out.
Second print of Vader. Are you saying the second print of Vader, the one with
and Vader Volume 1 or Volume 2, Volume 3, they're all good.
Yeah, Vader's are pretty good.
I'm way behind on it, and I need to.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool, Bob. That'd be really cool. Like if they did something, and they could still do that. They left that open to do it. Dark Visions.
I have a question for you guys. Coming from the movie universe, why I'm a little hard pressed to. I picked up the Vader comic book because it had the old retro, action figure cover. But I'm having a hard time reading about characters that I already kind of know their full story. Right? It's like, how much more could you talk about Vader? That's kind of why I like the side characters, because I feel like their stories haven't been told. So I've been struggling with the Vader books just because of that.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. So this is part of it. Like it's really archy and, Invite that. There's a lot of copies of that out there. I don't want to talk why there's a ton of the copies of that book out there, but there's a lot of people who thought that, because they didn't know the character, they just over ordered that. And it's cool. I mean, he looks all right. Like he's an all right character. I mean, he kills Rey's parents, right? Like he does that. Oh no. Oh, I love that. Oh, triple O. Yeah.
This is a Darth Vader book. And I cracked that one open and read it. And I'm like, I was kind of been there, done that, man. How much more stories can there be about Darth Vader?
The new series with Vader is kind of all right because they put it into 4-book arcs. I would just say that a lot of characters, there's going to be a lot of those second. We'll see. Anyways, so that was the Assassin of Bastogne that was on that second print cover. He's the guy that you see the skull in Rise of Skywalker, and that you see that's dead. And they kind of wrote his backstory a little bit about like Luke, like so in the Endless Sands, like Luke and somebody else was chasing. I can't remember the whole thing with it. It was kind of lame. Like he killed Rey's parents though, so that, and then this arc's going to end with him soon in a couple books probably. It's a good arc though. I like to read. It's a good read. I'll give you that. Even with that, like, but how many? But also too, like, if you can we spoil this? Kev's back. Can we spoil this? Everybody say yes in the chat, or somebody say yeah. We can spoil what's going on in the new Vader one. Was that thing? Because they're the last episode, which was what, 7? Was that 7?
Yes. 8 comes. 8 was just order.
Yeah. The Vader down one's good. Okay, so here we go. We got it. 1 yes. So in 7, like they don't, for some reason, Vader doesn't get to use his powers. Like this guy isn't even that powerful. It's just like Vader was told by the Emperor not to use his powers, which made the character seem weaker in my books, right? Like if it was going to be a strong, cool character that like you're like, oh, like that Silo character they originally did this type of story with, like he trained other people and was doing like this background stuff where it was like crazy and he was sending other people to kind of go after Vader and kind of take him out. Where and Vader wasn't like required to lose his powers and he couldn't use like the Force. In this book, the current one you're reading, he can't use the Force, which is interesting. I'll give you that. It's interesting that he can't use the Force, but at the same time, like how BA of an assassin are you if Vader's not allowed to use Vader built himself back together by using the Force with robot parts, man. Like,
well, maybe it's like at the end of Rogue One where he was like a horror movie monster and could throw guys around, but then literally 3 days later at the end of New Hope, he's fighting with like this, against Obi-Wan.
Yeah. So here's a little something. and by the way, the short does one of the reasons why Solo Wookie is smirking is because the short we're leaving out tomorrow does spoil some things. So we didn't get into that, but watch that short we're releasing tomorrow.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's a spoiler.
You definitely
it's a spoiler at the end.
You want to watch that show tomorrow. I promise.
I appreciate it. I think we're overselling it at this point, but I appreciate it. The Dark Woman is also, speaking of Solo, Dark Woman, Solo Wookie has a crush on her. Loves her.
I love her story. I think she's a great tie-in. I think there's a lot of ways that they can use her and tie in multiple factions and multiple stories, including Obi-Wan and the Sand People and Aurora and that whole tribe and everything that's going on that we just saw in the Mando series. And I think that's an underutilized character with great history and great juxtaposition, for lack of a better word, being one of the first gray Jedi that wasn't happy, wasn't sad.
She's 100% that, yeah.
She was one of the very first ones that came out and said, hey, there's a better way, and it's not either the light or the dark.
George, I was saying that, but like first off, how big of a Sith are you, Sith Lord, if some guy tells you can't use the Force? So it kind of pushed down, even though Vader had some issues, it kind of made him wussified, I guess. And number two, that's what I'm saying. Like, at least with Kylo or CLYO, whatever that guy was named, who could like transform into his other bodies, at least he went at him head to head. This assassin of Bastogne is like going after him like half powered with no legs. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I still like to read. You guys should all have in your poll. Don't get it twisted. I like Superman. They build up his power so much. Yeah.
You can get into the lesser characters there, Leaky.
Oh, nice.
Man.
No, Tales from the Mos Eisley, and they give you some background. There's also a novel, trade paperback or hardcover of Mos Eisley Cantina, and it tells you about all the people in the cantina.
Well, that was my question for you, Wookie, about
you got to bring her back. I
want to get into the Darth Vader books, and I saw this in the chat earlier. Forgive whoever put it, but is really the like, I'm assuming like the Vader book and the new Star Wars book, it's a way that they have to bring it in with the big name, but is really the appeal all of the characters that they put in there, like the side characters. And I read one person that said one volume of Darth Vader was all about Dr. Aphra, right? Which I'm going to get into that one next. I want to pick that series up. So is that
that book's a little expensive, bro. You might want to go pick up the trade paperback of that one.
Yeah,
even like the second, third are pretty expensive. I can probably give you one. I'll dig one out of the box for you, maybe. Then I have to dig it out of the box, so maybe I won't do that. We'll see. So Bob, real quickly, we did a special, the Obi-Wan special. We kind of get into that character there a lot because we think this character, we love this character. This is a personal favorite of ours. It was actually in the regular Star Wars run for Dark Horse. Number 8, I think, is when the dad, is it 8's the dad, 10's the kid? I mean, technically, you might find the kid in the background of 8, I guess, but like, you don't know if it's him or not. Either way, he's a cool character. We think he's going to show back up, but who knows? I think we think because they've been hinting at it a lot. Great. We should hey, listen, maybe on the holiday, that's what we'll do. We'll just all pick a character for Dark Horse that we want to, because that's what we're getting. We're getting all Dark Horse characters. Somebody said the Dark Woman. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll just have a group chat and have everybody pick a Dark Horse character they want to see back in, and we'll all chat about it live or maybe not live or just in a group chat that's private between all of us. Yes. Yep. Okay. Everybody likes that.
To answer your question, Leaky, I think that we have, in today's day and age, I think there's a lot of fans and there's a lot of, I don't see a lot of middle ground fans. I see a lot of exuberant, deep dive Star Wars fans that junk out on it like Marco and me, and we want to get into it. We want to know it all. We want to, I'm at nowhere near Marco level, but I try, and then you have a lot of fans that are are very surface fans. They've seen the movies 100,000 times. They've memorized the words in the movies. So those characters are very familiar. All those characters throughout the 9-movie arc, or 10 or 12, or however many you want to call that, with, you know, Rogue One and Solo and blah blah blah. All the Clone Wars stuff, you know, there's a certain level there that a lot of the fans really hit and watch those movies. The original 3 are obviously the biggest of them. So those fans are the ones that are most common with that stuff, and they call themselves fans. They don't call themselves super fans or
you better slow down, because one person here wears a Stormtrooper outfit, and they just shut down movie theaters again. What'd you have to go see before they shut them down there, Leaky?
Empire Strikes Back again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's great. So a lot of that style of fans, the more like entry level fan, you go one of two ways. You stay an entry level fan and you're like, okay, I'm very familiar with these characters. I'd like to know a little bit more about, you know, the guys in Mos Eisley Cantina, or the bounty hunters that we see in Empire Strikes Back.
So I got it with JJ. I got him the first run of Thrawn in the comics. But you're right, and that new book they just released, man, it's good. It is so good. You know, they took the gloves off Timothy to write these books, and he is producing. If you guys aren't reading the novels there, and you kind of want to get a feeling for what's going on, I would suggest Dark Disciples is up there. The new Thrawn trilogy, the 3, and then he's doing the prequel Thrawn trilogy. All 4 of those books are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. They're fast reads. They're very, very good. It gets a little complicated, so maybe if Leaky does read through them, I'll reread through them again, and we can explain some of the things that go on.
I'll dive into that. And
those are really cool.
What you were saying, Wookie, I love that, because
what normally happens is you'll get in there and you'll start seeing you'll start reading some of like that book I just showed you, the Mos Eisley Cantina, and you'll read about those characters. It'll start digesting, because it's easy and familiar, because you know, you're understanding where they were at that time, what was going on at that time, what happened before and after that time, and they're giving you that gap of in between and telling you each one of before, during, and after all of that scene. So it's really easy and quick to digest. Then you start running into the problem of, okay, well, I know about all these main characters, and then you start diving real deep, and you're like, what about this character? What about that? And that's where you start becoming that Marco Solo Wookiee fan, where you're like, give me more, and you start finding more characters. And that's one of the great things, and why we love Star Wars, because there's so much and so much information. You're able to just continually absorb and absorb and absorb.
And that's the experience I'm having right now. Is I'm starting, when I first read the book, when I was reading Target Vader, I was trying to place myself in the universe. Like, okay, what's the time frame here? Okay, it's in between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope, and the rebellion is just starting. But then once I got past that, I started to get into these side characters, man, like Valance and the Tusken Raider woman, and everything you said is hitting home with me, because now I'm a little deeper, but I'm still on the surface, but I want more.
Yeah, you'll get it.
Yeah, you're there. You're hooked now. Like, you're going to be the rabbit hole. Like, because even when we started doing these, and Solo knows a ton, and then I was like, hey, well, about this, you know, because I don't ever try to think people, like, I mean, look, we've got some amazing people that know a lot of stuff in the chat.
Absolutely.
People will start saying stuff, and I'm like, yeah, dude, like, I give you the thumbs up because you're on the right track. And like, this is not small stuff, but that's what happens, Leaky. When I hear you talking, and I knew Target would get you there, like, now you're gonna read the Thrawn thing, you're gonna be like, I gotta get all the novels. And this answers that guy's question. The first when the comic books, when they did Thrawn through Marvel, that little arc there is part of the first novel. So if you like that, pick up all 3, pick up all 4 novels. You know, if you're a fan of Dark Horse stuff that crossed over, if you like Aja Ventress, pick up that Dark Disciples with Voss in it. Oh, that's a good book. The Ahsoka thing, like, that was part of the thing that hasn't been such a big surprise with any of the Ahsoka stuff so far. That Ahsoka book was really good. it kind of spoiled a lot of things, unfortunately. But you know, hey, y'all watch this show. We spoil stuff all the time. So go ahead.
I hated in that Ahsoka book when it said that she wasn't going to show up until the end of episode 8 of season 2. That's when I was like, man,
say that.
Oh my God,
they didn't say that. Get out of here. Stop that. Listen, we know you keep watching our stuff and taking the content. He's joking with you, dude. Don't put that down in your little post there. It's not going to work.
How am I going to get minifigures for all these characters? Oh.
I know. Oh, that's a nightmare. That's such a nightmare. There's a guy I know. You know what? I might try to bring him back on one time. There's a guy that I know, a really good guy. He was originally supposed to be on the show with us, and like the day before our first taping, he got a new job in Tennessee and moved. So he hasn't been on, but hopefully one of these days he'll come on, and it's amazing because he does. He has every minifigure. He has like, he's got every Black Series helmet. He's got every Black Series. Like those lightsabers that are up there. Can you see? I don't know if you can. He's got all of them. He's got the Yoda one. He's got them all.
Toy Master.
All the FX.
Yeah.
FX
those FX ones. Yeah. All the original FX ones. He's got all 3 series, or 4 series, whatever it was, of the original FX ones. Like, I went downstairs and I was just like, can I just live in your basement for the rest of my life? Like, it's really cool what he's got. So hopefully we'll try to get him and go on. I read Dark Disciples and looking forward to the that Black Series figure looks real dope. Hey, little trick on this, guys, just in case you're looking for them. If you didn't get your pre-order in, this works with Target. If you didn't get your pre-order in, check the date. Whatever the delivery date is supposed to be, check 3 days before the delivery date and put in like your area and see if there's any in stock. Because that week of wherever it says it is, they'll just start dropping them on shelves. So you'll know what day to go out there and get them. If you can't get them, people are wiping the shelves of those Black Series right now. So try to get out there. Try to leave some for someone. Like hide it. Like put it in like the pop section or something else if you can. So that, the one thing about guys that are like scalpers are they're lazy. If they don't see it on the hook, they don't go and hunt for it. Let another hunter try to find it. Probably you should grab 2, just so you know. You read Dark Disciples. You loved it. Yep. She is great. And looking forward to the Black Series fig. Just geek out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Good. I hope so, Kev. I hope we can get something going on. Aja's good. What else did I get? The cool thing. He likes to use a little known character. Yep. The same thing with Dave. He likes to use background stuff. That's really cool. Guys, I think we're going to have to come to an end here. We're a little bit over an hour. I know we usually go a little bit over, but we do have a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, the show that we oversold is occurring tomorrow. I'll get it to you guys. I promise that. Make sure you watch it. And when you do, in the comments below, say, Marco, you oversold the show. Still give us a thumbs up. Tell me that I oversold the show. It's not that great. Also, I'm doing good. I'm glad. I know the 4 people who've seen it so far have said they liked it. My wife hasn't watched it yet. She's the toughest critic. She usually is like, I didn't understand what you're saying, but I think it was good.
Read Target Vader. She'll get there.
She's not going to read Target Vader. Where was I going? Grey's Anatomy. That's what I was saying. She's going to watch Grey's Anatomy instead of reading Target Vader. Modern Playbook, both. The Absolute Geek Guy, Solo Wookie and his crew. I will be returning for a second week of that nonsense. I promise it's going to be fun. I hear there might be a drinking game. I don't know, but I hear there might be one. Make sure you tune in for that. That is going to be this weekend on Saturday. I can't do it again. I can't do 3 o'clock. I was so gone. It was date night before that. And then I don't even remember being on the show last time, but check that show out. It's fun. It's great. We're going to do our review on Sunday again, but we're moving up. Oh, Leaky, can you move up the time for the review to 5:30 on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, we're moving up. And for this week, we will be moving up the show, the review to 5:30.
Mando review.
Review, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sundays, so that when they take our content and they put it on other shows, they can get a little bit of head start because they've been complaining they're taking.
And guys, come over to Low Bricks. I do a minifigure review of Mandalorian
it's
early
funny.
Friday morning.
It is funny. speaking of that, new low bricks, check it out in the description. We have it down there. Guys, I really appreciate it. Yeah, George, we'll see you later. I appreciate everybody in the chat. You know I always do, guys. I really have a good time with you guys. You guys make it worth it. It's a lot of fun. Did I miss anything? I think I promoted. Oh, Bird City Comics. Make sure if you go there, check them out. They just dropped new variants. I don't know if you guys all checked them out. If nothing else, go check out Bird City Comics. Oh, I'm clicking every
bounty hunter through there. I'm eating our own dog food.
Good.
Comics use our code Darkside DARKSHD.
You got it. You're going good. I'm still looking at Doug getting punched in the face here. So hold on. Put it up there. There you go. DARKSHDE.
DARKSHDE. Go check them out. Check out all their good stuff. They got a bunch of new custom one-off variants. Great stuff.
We got to talk about Anthony to do a Star Wars one. We need a Star Wars variant out there. So
yes, we do.
Some of his are getting really low though. So if you need to get them, order them soon. Great Christmas gifts. CBSI will be dropping a written article by Pete. By the way, Pete is going to be joining us from now on. It's going to be a force. Can we say foursome on YouTube? We said something about him.
We just did.
It's going to be 4 people now.
Is that another ham joke?
It is another. It's going to be me, Leaky, Jen, Solo Wookiees on Sunday with Pete thrown in the mix. We might see a little bit more of him. Check out his toy thing they just did. He's going to do a Star Wars one too, so that's really exciting. That's it. I think I've said everything I can. Solo, take us out.
All right. So do us a favor. After you're done checking out Bird City, go check out 4Color Creations. They got some of the coolest stuff that's out there, 3D laser printed, and the way he cuts it, man, that stuff is gold. If you're not looking and checking out 4Color Creations, you're missing out. I'm telling you. Comic Book Barricade, please protect all of your books and keep that spine from getting that dreaded tick in it. That stuff will kill you. After you're done with all of that, because you're the greatest fans in chat in the entire galaxy, go over, first push that like and subscribe, saber smash that bell so you can be alarmed when the greatest voices and faces this side of the galaxy come over to talk Star Wars smack with you. And remember that the Force is with you
always.
Hey, and don't forget, if you missed Jen's show on Tuesday, check it out. She covers 80s and 90s like cartoons, bro. Come on.
Go check out every content on the channel. The stuff has been hot lately. It's great.
Always. I miss that. All right, I'm still trying to take us out. You know I'm not good at this, guys. I appreciate you all. Michael, thank you. Everybody, we'll see you later. JJ, great to see you. You guys know who you are. See you all later.
Fat Club.
Fat Club.